What if I told you that on one October night over Donetsk, 200 Ukrainian drones fell silent within 40 minutes, and not a single one of them had been shot down? The pilots were watching their screens go dark one by one, thinking it was a malfunction, never realizing that somewhere across the front line, 6 Russian soldiers inside a truck were quietly ending the entire operation without firing a weapon. It is 3:40 in the morning on a cold October night in the Donetsk region. A Ukrainian drone operator named Daniel Romanko sits inside a concrete basement 12 kilometers west of the contact line. He is 26 years old, a former software engineer from a small city near Lviv, and tonight he is part of a coordinated strike package. Seen around him, 11 other operators are bent over their controllers, in each one guiding a quadcopter or a fixed-wing aircraft toward Russian positions across the horizon. The plan is simple on paper. 200 drones will lift off in staggered waves from 17 launch points spread across a 40-kilometer section of front line. They will fly low, under 300 meters, and reach their targets within 90 minutes. Fuel depots, artillery batteries, a command trailer, a radar array, 2 supply warehouses, and a small logistics hub near the highway. It is one of the largest single-night drone operations the unit has attempted, and the team has prepared for nearly 3 weeks. Daniel checks his screen one last time. His first aircraft is airborne, battery reading 96%, signal strong. He takes a slow sip of instant coffee from a paper cup and exhales into the cold basement air. From across the front line, 42 kilometers to the southeast, a Russian truck sits parked in a narrow tree line near a village called Yasinuvata. The truck is gray, unmarked, roughly the size of a small delivery vehicle. On its roof, 4 rotating antenna arrays turn slowly in the cold air. Inside the vehicle, 6 Russian soldiers monitor 6 separate screens. The unit is part of the Russian electronic warfare branch, operating a system that Russian sources have referred to as Shipovnik Arrow. Its task is not to shoot down drones. Its task is to speak to them. At 3:44 in the morning, the Russian commander inside the truck, a senior officer named Mikhail Orlov, receives a short message from forward observation posts. Ukrainian drones have been detected rising from multiple sectors simultaneously. The number is unusual. The pattern is unusual. Mikhail does not move quickly. He lowers his cup of tea onto a small shelf near the console, turns to his senior operator, and quietly gives the order to begin. The system comes alive in silence. Across a 30-kilometer arc, the truck begins sweeping specific radio frequencies used by commercial and modified drone control links. It is not jamming in the traditional sense. It is something more precise and more patient. The system listens, identifies the exact control channel each drone is using, and then sends a stronger, carefully shaped signal on that same frequency. It does not destroy the link. It simply overrides it, replacing the operator on the other end, without the operator realizing anything has changed. Inside the Ukrainian basement, Daniel is the first in his row to notice that something is wrong. His primary drone, a modified quadcopter carrying nearly 2 kilograms of payload, stops responding to his inputs. The video feed freezes for 2 seconds, then clears again, but the drone is drifting. It is not following his commands. It is slowly turning. It is flying north. He tries to regain control. He toggles between channels. He restarts the controller software twice. Nothing responds. Beside him, another operator, a young woman named Anna Moroz, whispers across the table that her aircraft has also gone unresponsive. Then a third voice from the far wall. Then a fourth. Within 8 minutes, more than 60 drones across the operation have stopped obeying their pilots. Some are flying in slow circles. Some are gliding back toward Russian lines. Some are simply descending gently into open fields. As if someone had pressed a return to home button from very far away. Daniel is not panicked yet. He assumes a software fault, a frequency collision, a temporary technical issue. He reaches for the radio to contact the operations coordinator at the sector command post. But the coordinator is already being flooded with the same reports from every basement along the front line. every sector, every team. By 4:10 in the morning, the number has grown past 140. By 4:20, the silence is nearly total. 200 drones, launched from 17 different positions, have fallen out of operator control within 40 minutes. Only a small handful, the ones flying autonomously on pre-programmed routes without any active control link at all, continue toward their original targets. Inside the Russian truck, Mikhail Orlov watches a simple green display. Each captured drone appears as a small dot, its signal now locked, its control link redirected. He is not smiling. He is simply doing his job. His operators are recording frequency data, control protocols, encryption patterns, and telemetry logs for later analysis by engineers at facilities much farther east. Back in the Ukrainian basement, Daniel finally understands what has happened when he sees his own drone through the forward-facing camera turn away from its target and begin a slow, deliberate flight toward a Russian position. Whoever is flying it now is not him. The realization moves through the room in a wave from one operator to the next. There is no sound of combat. There is no explosion. There is only the quiet hum of laptop fans and the soft clicking of useless controllers. Later reports indicated that the Russian unit did not need to destroy a single aircraft that night. The drones either landed safely inside Russian-held territory, where they were recovered, or were guided gently into empty ground and left there. In the basement, the operators sat for a long time in silence. No one had been wounded. No one had been attacked directly. And yet, the operation, the one they had rehearsed for 3 weeks, had simply ended. Daniel later described it in a private conversation as watching something you built to slip quietly out of your hands while you were still holding it. In the days that followed, analysts on both sides tried to describe what had happened over Donetsk that October night. The Ukrainian sources spoke of a single electronic warfare platform that had reshaped the outcome of a major operation without a round being fired. Russian sources quietly confirmed that the system had been deployed along that section of the front for several weeks. For the operators inside the basement, the experience stayed with them. Daniel Romanko was reported to have requested a transfer to a different unit. The drones that did not return were said to have been studied carefully in Eastern facilities for months afterward, feeding every line of data into future systems. If this story made you think differently about how modern conflict actually works, take a moment before you move on. A single quiet truck on a cold night shaped the outcome of an operation that took months to plan. And stories like this rarely reach mainstream coverage. And if you want to understand the invisible side of this war, the moments that reshaped the front line without making the news, this channel is where those stories are examined in detail. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next analysis. Leave a comment and tell us which operation you want broken down next. A like helps more people find this kind of analysis. See you in the next story.